name is Melissa.
I'm Kendrick.
It's your boy Jason.
And today with Free My City Podcast, we have a special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, the one that got us all here together today. Where this podcast is based off of faith, music, and community and colliding it into one. And as we maneuver this conversation today, I want to introduce Levallois Hamilton.
Y'all are too kind.
Like we didn't take this 2 times already.
All right, what's up, man?
Man, how you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good. I'm loving these continuation, episodes.
Yeah, no, definitely. We got to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
And to hop into continuing the conversation of, something that's going on in Killeen at this moment, and it's pivotal, is the suspension 90-day no-knock warrants.
Yeah.
Man, that is powerful, community. That is so powerful. You see the union and power of coming together, how something can change so quickly.
Yeah.
So quickly something can change. So, with the awakening of nations regarding social injustice and systematic racism, do you all feel the decision to cancel no-knock warrants for the next 90 days at least was driven by the community?
Yeah, indeed. A couple of people I want to shout out is the Reed family. Definitely want to shout out the Reed family. I know since their brother was killed by an officer in the no-knock raid that took place in 2019, they have been really aggressive about trying to get the police department to really look and get rid of the no-knock warrant, as well as look into the investigation furthermore and hold those accountable for that incident. So I feel that they are ones here locally that have been pushing that, before it became a popular thing to talk about, because it happened in our own backyard. Another shout out I want to give is to the Let's Move movement. So after the George Floyd situation happened, Rashad and Jonathan pretty much coordinated a big rally, right in front of Taboo, brought the city together, and I can attest, man, sat in a couple of meetings with these guys, and they're serious. They're really about what they're saying. And since that protest, they have been hitting the ground running. And
Absolutely.
we went and supported the Reed family right after that rally to furthermore talk about that conversation concerning the no-knock warrant. And I know that the Let's Move movement pretty much took that and sat down and really been applying pressure on our city officials, as well as the Reed family, to discuss the no-knock warrant. I want to say, when I read the article about the 3-page letter that came from Chief Kimball regarding how they're going to create this or move with this police reform package, I was really impressed. But having had conversations with Chief Kimball, from my experiences, I know him as a man that really cares about the community.
Absolutely.
I remember when Chief Kimball first took a seat as the chief of the police department, I met him at Lions Club parking lot at our church's Refuge Corporation. They was giving out food, and he showed up to that event, and it was officers there, and he was out mingling with the people. He wasn't even in uniform yet. And I remember just sitting down with him, and how he said he wanted to talk and hear my heart concerning the youth in the area, and we've had those conversations, and he's always followed up. And so I knew that once that pressure was applied from the community to really look into the no-knock, that as a chief he would do his due diligence to hear the people. And so for me, that's seeing that article says 2 things. One, the Reed family, the Let's Move movement, and anybody else that I didn't mention that played a role in sitting down and talking to chief and city officials about the no-knock warrant, you were heard. And then the second thing to note is that we have people in positions that are listening to us when we are speaking. And so for me, that's a double win for the community. And I think it's a good thing that he has suspended it for 90 days. Also to allow time for them to really look into what police reform looks like in Killeen, because it's not the same as it is in Minneapolis. So we're not necessarily dealing with all the things that they're dealing with in Minneapolis, but I'm pretty sure there's some things that we can improve in our local police department as well. So I think it's a double win for the community for sure.
No, absolutely. I agree too. It's been great witnessing the community come together. People that didn't feel like they had a lane when it came to activism, they found it.
Yeah.
And it's great to see, Colleen, because this provides opportunity, because it leads to education. People are actually educating themselves because they're out and they're submerging themselves in their community.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful thing. But like my question to you, and people can sound off in the comments too, but what's next, Colleen? Like what are we gonna rally together on next? I know my response, but I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to y'all.
Okay. Who wanna go?
Who wanna go?
You in the comments.
Look, and I want to piggyback before I answer that question real quick off what you said, because Marvin Guy is another individual in our community that he didn't fall victim as far as losing his life. He lost his freedom to the no-knock warrant. He's been in prison since 2014 when they did a no-knock warrant on his home, and he took the life of a community police officer as well. And so I think it's important, what's next for us is continuing to vote, hold our city officials accountable, because he still hasn't had a trial, and it's been 6 years, and I think justice for him looks like continuing to do what we've been doing. Now we've got the police listening to us. We need to get our defense attorneys listening to us. We need to see what these judges are talking about, how long y'all gonna keep putting certain trials off of y'all docket and taking other ones within 30 days. We got to sit down with these judges too, and hold them accountable as well, because that's very important. It's an entire system of government. I think right now the nation is upset with police, but it's so much more in as far as the judicial side of our government than just police. And so the next thing would be, I think, furthering our education. We did our research on police reform. We got to do our research on now the judges, because once the police arrest them, it's out of the police hands at that point. It's prosecutors, it's judges, and it's all of that. And so now we got to do our homework on holding these individuals responsible, for individuals like Marvin Guy to get their right to a speedy and fair trial.
Absolutely. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head there.
Seriously.
I mean, that's good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, I like what Chris Rock he said in one of his comedy specials, that accountability and far as standards within police, government itself, judges, I mean, needs to be the same as what we put standards on somebody else. Like, for example, he was talking about airplane pilots. Mm-hmm. He's like, you're not gonna have somebody fly a plane without that standard being there, because if they crash a plane, we have a few bad pilots. You don't want to hear that. We have a few bad pilots, and that's okay. But the rest of the pilots are still good. Like, who's the bad pilots? I ain't gonna go on that plane, right. And so it's like with officers and things like that. Like, that's the excuse. Not all officers are bad. No, they're not. But at the same time, where's the standard as far as like people that you're putting in that position? You know what I'm saying?
No, that is so true, because it's crazy. Lawyers, attorneys, however you want to view them or call them, it takes them 8 years to fight the law, right? Where on average, to protect and serve the law, it takes less than a year. So there is a difference between the two. You have someone that it took them 8 years to learn and be able to identify what the law and justice is, and then you have a year of someone just training and that's that. I'm sure there's additional training. I'm not too familiar, so don't come for me. But what I'm saying is that there's a discrepancy in regards to education. But not only that, if we talk about police and policing, and holding justice accountable, we also need to talk about the disparities when it comes to economic growth in cities that are underrepresented. I put it like this. You have an area that has a great school in area X, right? And then you have an area that is not in a gray area, and there's lack of education in both areas. And so we're missing the fact that these areas that are in this bad area are over policed. So obviously there's going to be more crime. You know, you're over policing. You're over policing. And when you over police the area, people are rebellious by nature. People are rebellious by nature. You over police a community, then what happens? More crime. But you know what? How about you educate your community? You get involved in your community, then what happens? People are educated and they take care. They take care because they have ownership. Teach ownership. Provide opportunities. Like one of my biggest goals with this awakening is the revitalization of downtown. It is so necessary, not only for our children and the youth, but for people in the city to not feel like they are in that black hole, like we mentioned on the episode before. Because oftentimes there's no opportunities. I had to leave, and I don't work in Killeen. I wish I could work in Killeen and be able to, align myself. But the revitalization program will bring people to want to work here and want to thrive here. I don't know the household income, but I know it's below poverty. I'm pretty sure. But the thing is that they don't have access to opportunity. And so when you don't have access to opportunity, we have a whole area that's underdeveloped and not invested into. Yeah, you can make the outside pretty, because I'm going to call it out. I've done my research. You can make the outside pretty, but that does nothing if nothing's in there making money in the inside.
You know what? That reminds me, like, one of the things I want to have a call to is these small businesses open back up apprenticeships. You know what I'm saying? Like, people didn't have college way back in the day. They had these, especially for some of these trades. You got like a 18-year-old. You realize that he's gifted with building. One of these carpenters, take him under your wings. And then what happens when we do that is, for the small businesses, you're getting a quality employee for one. You're doing your due diligence to the community. Can you imagine going into a neighborhood, that you constantly answer, like if you do HVAC, the AC's constantly going out every year. You see how you going inside of their house. You see how they live, and they poverty stricken. Can you imagine going in there and finding the teenager and was like, man, how would you feel about knowing how to fix your mama AC when they go out? You know what I mean? And it's like telling them, hey, this is what you got to do to get HVAC certified. I'm going to show you the ropes. Man, you can change your situation just by starting off learning to fix your mama AC, So I think it's also, since we own community, our job to more than just hold the government responsible, our local government responsible. We've got to open back up and reaching each other. And not trying to hold all the wealth to ourselves, because it's too much in our economy to go around to just say, you know what, I don't want nobody else to learn how to fix AC. I don't want nobody else to learn how to shoot videos, because you know what I mean? It's like if you got 5,000 people a week that need their AC fixed, bro, you ain't finna fix all them AC. You know what I'm saying? So like, open back up apprenticeships and take some of these young people under your wings and give them jobs and opportunities and show them how you started.
Yeah, I like that. So in essence, we're saying, the next move from here, because where we are right now in the city of Killeen is very similar to where a lot of people are globally right now, where pressure has been applied politically. People are speaking up against social injustice. Companies are reevaluating their values and everything in their operations. And people are learning about Black history,
that's true.
Like today, like yesterday was Juneteenth. We celebrating the day and everything. We're going to take the whole weekend. So we're in this place right now where those that have felt voiceless for so long have a voice and they're using it. And so where do we go from here with all this momentum? The thing is we have to keep moving, for one. So we have to continue to move in this direction. I like what you guys said about educating. So that's a big component, because you can only go as far as what you know. So you have to continue to educate yourself to keep that momentum going, so you can continue to have conversations and continue to apply pressure and support. And then another thing is, after we have educated ourselves on what's happening in our communities, then we have to engage. And so eventually our prayer and our hope is that we will not have to continue to have these conversations about police brutality, that we won't have to continue to have conversations about racism. So eventually we want to get to a place within our communities where we're not reactionary, where we're not just always just reacting. Like, we do nothing. We just stay on cruise control the whole time in our community until something bad happens, and then we rally, and then we preach, and then we do all that, and then when it dies down, we all go back to killing each other, and you know, and so so I feel like for us in our community where we are right now, to keep things moving forward, we should be doing exactly what each one of you guys have said, and that's take ownership. And so if you are a business owner, find ways that you can impact. You know, don't just look and say, well, the city council need to do this, and this person need to do this, and this person need to fix our problems. No, they're not all gonna fix it, and it's very complex. You know, there's rules, there's regulations, there's processes for a reason. So we have to be patient. It's not gonna happen overnight. But in the meantime, what can we do with our platforms, our resources, our skills, our talents to impact those around us? You know, and don't always look for a big crowd. Big crowds doesn't always mean success. If you just have one student that you're mentoring, that's a good thing, because he gonna go out there and do great things, and he's gonna replicate what you taught him. It's just gonna continue to add. So don't look at your value being in numbers. And that's what I would tell anybody in our community right now is, it's trendy to be an activist right now. It's trendy to be the one with the microphone. I had a young man come sit in my office the other day, and he's been coming to all the rallies, and he said, you know, I just feel like I need to just do more. And I said, man, but I've seen you at every protest. Like, that's good. The ones in Killeen and Belton, like, I've seen you at everything. He said, yeah, I just feel like I just need to do more. Like, I said, do you feel like you need to say something? Do you feel like you need the microphone? And he was like, I don't know. I feel like I need to say something, but you know, that's not. I said, well, listen, I said, one thing I want to help you out as a young person right now is, you know, you supporting what's happening and you playing your role and you playing your part doesn't always mean going after the microphone. Right. Absolutely. Everybody's not going to have something to say in the microphone that's going to change the whole world. Yeah. I said, one thing I learned about is, if you're just being present, be present in the moment. Right. Like, do what you're doing. Be there. If you vote, you did your part. Absolutely. So you might not know everything you need to know about politics. You might not know all the rules, regulations, and the bylaws, and all the ordinances, and all this kind of stuff, right? You might not know all that. Right. Yeah. But if you know who you voting for, and you feel in your heart that you're making the best decision on behalf of the community, you did your part.
Absolutely.
You did your part. So I don't want people to feel overwhelmed into thinking that the only way they can make change in our community is by being an activist, is by yelling at a video, or you know, being on a stage, or rallying thousands of people together. No, man, you can make impact just by being an educated, engaged citizen. Right. Absolutely. That's where we go from there.
In your lane.
In your lane. Everybody got a lane in this, y'all.
Run it.
Run it. Run it. But long term. We don't want no sprinters. No sprinters. But, you know, we talked about a lot here. But my next question to you all, because, you know, we got to wrap this up here short. And for those, you know, listening to us right now, what would be the biggest takeaway about those interested in getting involved with Free My City? Like, what would you be telling them at this moment?
To get involved? Reach out. So we have a intercore group and we got an outer core group. Intercore is pretty much, you know, our strategic planning. You know, that's kind of how we're set up. So if you are a person that have a certain skill asset that can help us with our infrastructure, with organization, progressing together and all that, then, you know, we can talk offline. Just reach out to me and we can have conversations. if you just say, hey, I want to plug in with the positivity of what you guys are doing. If y'all throwing something, I want to be able to come out and support. Cool, let's link. We got a whole Facebook page. We got an Instagram. We also have a private Facebook group, and that's where we kind of use for all of those that are huddling with the movement. And so there's a lot of information that we're going to put out on how you can get involved. We want to go to council meetings together. If you have young people that are into music, we want to rally behind them and teach them artist development and show them what we know. And also we'll be creating events and creating platforms and concerts for people to be able to express their gifts and talents and things like that. So all of that will be coming. So yeah, you want to get involved, just reach out. Don't just wear the t-shirt. Don't just wear the t-shirt. Like, show up. You know what I'm saying? Show up.
Show up. Be present. Man, that's so good. Y'all, thank y'all. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for these people in the community coming together and this being something that impacted, you Levallois. Yeah. So like this messaging it's driven by you, but it has a different purpose and a different mission. Yeah. And so, I'd like to thank all of you that are listening once again for joining us, taking the first step of learning how you can make a difference. Yeah. Like, I hope you enjoyed us as we enjoyed giving this message to you. Follow us on Facebook, Free My City, or on Instagram, free_my_city. Let's go. As we're going to be dropping videos consistently. So make sure you tune in. Yeah. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a comment, But overall, I'll leave you all with this. Go out there and vote. Be the change you want to see on the streets. And above all, free your mind so you can free your city. Be blessed, community.
Everybody